Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Shadow Gallery. As always, I am your host, James Donnelly, and you're probably expecting new comics, bitches. But instead, because there were so few comics that came out this week that I even picked up, I'm just going to skip it, and I'm going to do it all next week. When more comics that I do care about actually do come out. So, I decided that I was going to do a segment in which I would show you, we would talk about, I should say, and I'll show you some, of what I consider to be, and follow me through here, the best non-comic book movies. Let me reverse that. The best comic book movies not based on a comic book. Yeah, I know that you're confused, so let me explain. These are films that essentially are comic booky. They have the elements of comics, whether it's superpowers or other worlds. Things of that nature, but they're not based on any pre-existing comic book characters or comic book mythology. They have elements of great comic book in them, which is why I'm choosing this to. This is going to be a 6-part series, and it's going to take place over the course of several days. So let's jump right in. Now, this particular segment, because there's going to be 5 films that are the top 5, and then there's going to be, in this segment that you're going to see, are my honorable mentions. I'm going to go in ascending order. So let's start with the honorable mentions. The 2 films that we're going to be talking about today actually both feature Christian Bale, who went on to do a series of comic book films where he plays Bruce Wayne / Batman, obviously in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, but in these first 2 films that we're going to talk about, he plays, one he plays kind of a similar character, and one he plays a radically different character. So first we're going to talk about honorable mention number 1. And that is the film by Christopher Nolan, also, called The Prestige. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, wait, why The Prestige? If you're going to do a Christopher Nolan film, why not Inception? Because that seems to be more kind of a comic booky world type of story. Well, if you haven't seen The Prestige, and I highly recommend that you do, the reason that I'm not doing Inception is basically for the reason that there's another film on the list that I'll get to later, and we'll talk more about that then. But The Prestige, for those of you who have not seen it, I'm going to show you the trailer, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Okay? So let's do that. Let me show you the trailer, and here it is.
Shoot me. Come on.
No, I can't
Do it! How'd you like that?
Well, how do you do it?
Magic.
I'll perform this feat in a manner never before seen by yourselves or any other audience anywhere in the world.
The audience loved it.
This trick is top-notch.
We need to celebrate.
A real magician tries to invent something new. It's something that other magicians will scratch their heads over.
I suppose you have such a trick.
Actually, I do. It's the one they're gonna remember me for.
What happened?
It was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen.
I need to know how he does it.
He has no trick. It's real. Every great magic trick consists of 3 acts. The first act is called the pledge. The magician shows you something ordinary, but of course, it probably isn't. The second act is called the turn.
He's obsessed with discovering your method.
The magician makes this ordinary something do something extraordinary. Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it. That's why there's a third act called the prestige. This is the part with the twists and turns, where lives hang in the balance.
Julie, come on!
And you see something shocking you've never seen before. This was built by a man who can actually do what magicians pretend to do.
Real magic.
I know what you really are.
How does he do it? You want the truth?
Nothing is impossible.
Abracadabra.
No more secrets.
Secrets of my life.
Okay, now that you've seen that amazing trailer, you may have a little bit of an idea of why I'm talking about this. Now, it's, you know, a rivalry between 2 magicians. Hugh Jackman, also a man who has played a comic book character 4 times, same character, and is going to do it a 5th time. And for those of you who've seen X-Men First Class, I don't mean really to have spoiled anything, but if you haven't heard about that by now, you're really kind of out of the loop. So, you know, because they're going to be doing a sequel to Wolverine just called The Wolverine. Anyway, so you have him, and you have Christian Bale, and you have other actors that parade around this film that have been in other comic book films, that have played comic book characters, such as Michael Caine, obviously, playing Alfred Pennyworth, and Scarlett Johansson, who played Black Widow in Iron Man 2 and is going to be again featured in The Avengers. So what we have here is a rivalry between these 2 men based on the world of magic. Now, this is I should clarify, the world of illusion, but it does delve into perhaps actual magic. Now, for those of you who have ever read the Clive Barker shortish story, The Last Illusion, you'll know what I'm talking about, because there definitely is a difference between illusion and magic. Illusion is just sleight of hand, and magic is the real shit. And never has a story explained the difference better than The Last Illusion. So if you haven't read that story, I also highly recommend that you do. It's with it's a short story that is actually with the book with his book Cabal, which became Nightbreed, which was a horrible film. But anyway, so for reasons that without seeing the film can't really, because this is definitely not a film that I can spoil. I cannot spoil this film, but you will see how these characters transition, using, basically parlor tricks, but then transcending that and using something beyond comprehension. And you have such a great cast, and the likes of Andy Serkis and David Bowie as Nikola Tesla is just a real treat. Because I really like David Bowie as an actor, and I wish he was in more stuff. So But that's number one. So now, well, I'm actually going to break this. So there's going to be 7 segments because, you know, as I've maybe mentioned before, or at least written about before, I don't really understand why it only allows for 15 minutes of recording rather than just letting, you know, just going on until you're done. So, so in the next one, which I'll also put up probably within the next day or so. These are both going to come, because I do have to edit these together, because I have to edit the trailer in. So there's this one, and there's going to be another one that are probably going to come soon. So that's it for honorable mention number 1, The Prestige. So come back for honorable mention number 2. So we'll see you next time.